You like to think a crowd is just a collection of individuals. That if every person in a crowd is kind, then the crowd itself will be kind. You believe people lose control because they're surrounded by bad people. Almost everyone is wrong. Picture yourself leaving a football stadium after a championship match. Thousands of people pour into the streets. Everyone is shouting. Someone throws a bottle. Another person smashes a window. Within minutes, strangers who would never normally damage someone's property begin kicking over trash cans, spray painting walls, even setting cars on fire. Of them will wake up asking the same question. What came over me? Psychologists have been asking that question for decades. One of the earliest clues came from an unusual set of experiments by psychologist Philip Zimbardo in the late S. Volunteers were asked to deliver electric shocks to another person, not unlike earlier obedience experiments. But this time, there was one crucial difference. Participants wore large name tags. Others wore that completely hid their faces. Anonymous, unrecognized, changed. The people did. Those were hidden consistently delivered longer and stronger shocks than those whose faces remained visible. Simply removing their identity changed behavior. Years later, research phenomenon a name. Deindividuation, state where your sense of personal identity begins to fade inside a group. Instead of thinking, "What am I doing?" your brain quietly shifts to a different question. What are we doing? That single change sounds small, isn't? Because the word we across everyone. No one feels completely responsible. When responsibility becomes diluted, your brain is constantly monitoring how other people behave. Normally, that helps you fit into society. You wait your turn because everyone else does. You lower your voice in a library because everyone else is quiet. Social norms keep millions cooperating every day. But those same mechanisms can also work in reverse. When enough people begin breaking the rules, your brain starts treating the new behavior normal. Not because you agree with it, because humans are deeply wired to synchronize with the people around them. Realizing it, you begin borrowing the crowd morality instead of your own. Here, the part most people never consider. Crowds don't always make people worse. Sometimes they make people astonishing. Think about the strangers who rush toward a burning building. The volunteers who form human chains during floods. Who work together to lift a car off someone trapped underneath. Exactly the same cycle is operating. Identity shifts. Instead of amplifying fear, it amplifies. The crowd itself isn't dangerous. The of the crowd is. Now think about the internet. Millions of interact every day without seeing each other's faces. Anonymous pictures instead of real expressions. Comments instead of conversations. Recreates many of the same conditions as a physical crowd. Less identity. Less accountability. More insult. A second person joins in. 100 others follow. Most of them would never say. Those same words face to face. Not because they're secretly cruel, because anonymity quietly changes how responsibility feels. Everyone's, which often means it feels like no one's. You can probably find smaller versions of this in your own life. The meeting where nobody challenges a bad idea because everyone else seems comfortable with it. The group chat where one sarcastic joke slowly turns into bullying. The protest that begins peacefully but ends in violence after only a handful of people change the mood. The online pile-on where thousands criticize someone they've never met. No single person planned the outcome, but together they created it. Here's the twist. Researchers have found something surprisingly simple that weakens this effect. People feel identifiable. Ask them to wear name tags. Turn on the lights. Real names instead of anonymous usernames. Place a mirror in the room. Even something simple as seeing your own reflection makes people behave more ethically, because it restores something the crowd quietly took away: your awareness of yourself. That's the real antidote. Not avoiding crowds, not fearing groups, that your identity doesn't disappear just because you're surrounded by other people. The next time you find yourself doing something simple because everyone else is doing it, pause for a second. Ask one question. If everyone else walked away, would I still choose this? That single sentence pulls your mind out of the crowd and back into your own hands. You like to think crowds become dangerous because dangerous people join them. Psychology suggests something far more unsettling. Sometimes ordinary people become dangerous, convinces each person that they are no longer acting alone. The invisible force isn't the crowd itself. It's the moment you stop thinking of yourself as I and start believing that whatever happens next belongs to us.